welcome back to another video of jPlay, and today I start my playthrough of Heropath, and I really hope that my green screen works here, to be honest, because if not, I'm empty-handed here. The game comes with a lot of, let's say, modes in how to play this game, and I decided to go with a solo mode. There is a cooperative mode, there is a competitive mode, which is more or less the standard game. There is also some kind of a team mode, but yeah, as you know me, I will play this game solitaire. I think the experience playing solitaire is even a little bit faster than when playing it with more than just one player, but yeah, let's find out and see, shall we?
Okay, and here we are. This is pretty much the setup for the solo variant. The multiplayer variant is slightly different because you only expose 8 of those sites. In the solo game they're all exposed, so I think it gives you some level of planning so that you know where you have to do in order to optimize your character. Normally when you move to those sites and there is no site, you grab into a huge bag and really pull out one of those sites. Stand is here, pretty nice actually. And in case you're wondering how this normal mode, the competitive mode, actually works, I highly recommend you to check out Tragic's channel. I think I will put a link into the description of this video because he's performing a multiplayer playthrough for Heropath there as well. Again, I will focus on the solo experience. I decided to play as the elf, and I also have started to do the kind of drafting, which is also something that's different to the competitive game. In this game you draw a number of cards and then you get to choose 6 of those. And yeah, I was not so lucky, I think, so I ended up with this scale mail armor. Not so sure if it's really thematic for an elf, but still I'm allowed to use it because it's asking for a skill value of 2 and up, and it happens that I start the game with 2 of those skill tokens. I'm not so sure if you will be able to see those beads here, these glass or plastic beads, so well. Tragic solved this pretty well by using different colored beads. The problem is I don't have too many of those different colored beads, so I really hope that this will do. Maybe I have to change things a little bit if it's not really clear on camera. Apart from that, I ended up with this astral power here. Unfortunately, I still don't have a wisdom of 2 and up, so I will not be able to use it right away, but I'm pretty sure that this will be a useful spell which I can use later on. The Sword of Justice is also pretty amazing, to be honest. Unfortunately, I still need another skill point, but hopefully I get it anytime soon because this increases my hero power by 2. Right now it's not equipped, so it doesn't provide me anything. And I also ended up with some nice little abilities. This Inflict Fear is pretty cool. I get that 1 to the hero battle dice if their total shows 2 or 3, so this can definitely help. Here we have Blessing of the Forest. I will catch no leeches, and I think this is so important in the solo game because there's really a very, very tough timer here, so I really need all the movement I can get, I think at least. And last but not least, I have the Elven Blood. I get a +1 hero power during battle when using an active bow. Right now I don't have a bow. Normally I wouldn't went for this ability here, but the others weren't great either, so I decided to stick to them. Maybe later on I will be able to find a bow. On the other hand, of course, then I may not be able to use my Sword of Justice, but maybe I can still sell it somewhere or so. We start the game in this lovely, I don't know, village here, inn or whatever it is. It clearly says start. It's definitely a safe space, so there aren't any monsters here. And this is also something that's different to the solo game. We have way more monsters out on the board. Right now they are all face down, so I can pass over them without having to encounter them in any way. But at the end of each so-called dragon turn, we will have to flip up or put face down 2 of those in any of those regions, or 3 of those regions, I believe. I have to double check that, but I think we come to that later on. Basically, we have monsters everywhere, but those sites here and all those safe spaces and those balloon spaces here. Apart from that, we may be able to fight someone nearly everywhere. The subtitle of the game is Dragon Roar, which means sooner or later we have to fight the mighty dragon here. And again, this is really a race now, because if the so-called scale of evil ever makes it to 10 and this goes up after each round, then we have automatically lost the game. So pretty much here we can still beat the dragon. If it moves then to 10 at the end of our round, we have lost the game if we have not managed to defeat the dragon. I played this game so far only in the competitive mode, and after some rounds, unfortunately didn't count them, we were able to defeat the dragon, but I'm relatively sure it took us more than 10 rounds, but of course we didn't really rush things. So I think I have to change the pace in this solo experience apparently. And I think with that we are pretty much good to go. So I will explain you all the rules as we go. In fact, the game is relatively straightforward. Of course, it's more tactical than you would think. Of course, you're still rolling a lot of dice. You still have to hope for the right cards to show up. But the game allows you to plan ahead accordingly. And especially in the solo game where all of the sites are already on the board, I really can check where I want to go. Let's say I want to increase my wisdom. It clearly tells me, hey, you can do that in the major skill, in the academy, at the forest imp, or at the hall of glory. And then I check what's next to us. And then, yeah, depending on basically where I should go, I could move there and do my best in order to whatever trade the stuff. There are a lot of options that you can take in order to increase your stats. But yeah, this really helps you to plan your moves ahead. And this is something that you have to do. And I think especially in solo play, this is something that you have to do. The competitive mode is also some kind of race. Because again, whoever beats the dragon first wins the game apparently. So yeah, but here you don't really have, let's say, a set number of rounds which you have to take or until you have to defeat the dragon. Okay, again, enough said, let's get started. And I think one of our first things to do would be to increase our skill so that we can use our sword sooner or later. And again, if we check our little overview here, we can do that at the priestly order, the monastery, the hall of glory, or again at the forest imp. So the hall of glory really seems to solve a lot of our problems. And yes, I think we can actually go here to the forest imp. It's only 2 spaces away, so we can reach him with only 1 movement action, or with one of our 5 actions. Normally you have 4 actions in the solo play, you have 5 actions each round. And yeah, we don't have to expose this monster. Of course we can do, because if we defeat that monster, we are usually getting some goodies. So we can draw a fortune card. In most cases that's a good thing. And we can also, or we increase our experience, which we also need in order to battle more mighty creatures later on. But let's check out what we need to do in order to get some skill at the forest imp. And I think this is not great. First of all, we have to pay 1 or 2 gold in order to convert 1 or 2 wisdom to 1 or 2 skill. And to be honest, I want to hold on to my wisdom as well. And if we go there, we get 1 extra magic card. This is for free actually. And we can only go for the bottom, for example. It says and or. But that's not really the greatest thing in the world. I really want to hold on to my wisdom. But the problem is I checked all of the other sites, and you also always have to exchange something which we don't have right now. The best bet would be the Hall of Glory, which where I could get 1 wisdom or 1 skill. But I have to pay 1 experience, 1 gold, and 1 magic card. I could live with getting rid of our magic card. The problem is I also have the gold. I don't have the experience. So I think maybe we really should fight a monster first. So we might as well spend our first action to simply move adjacent. We will end our movement there in order to flip it up. And I think, what is it? Is it a goblin? I think that's a goblin. And here we were actually pretty lucky because, yeah, it only gets 1 die and plus 10 strength to that die roll. In order to determine our strength, we simply add up all of our beats. Doesn't really matter where they are. And yeah, and also our die rolls, which is in this case 2 of those yellow dice, and we also get a +1 because of our scale mail armor here. So I think there is a good chance beating that goblin. Right now the scale of armor is still at 0, so we don't really add anything. Again, later on when they power up, so when the game progresses, those monsters will get tougher too, but this more or less simulates the race. So I get tougher, they get tougher. So yeah, let's simply roll our dice. Okay, I think that's 4. They have a 14 in total. Keep in mind they always have a 10. That's 4. Yeah, that's definitely enough to beat this goblin here. So we put this onto the scale of evil. In the solo game, it doesn't really mean something. In the co-op or the competitive mode, this is actually a pretty nice way in order to extend or basically move up the scale of evil, because for each player, each track can take that many number of monsters, and when we have reached the number of players with monsters here, we move to the next level of the scale of Elo. Then we do a dragon turn and whatnot. In the solo game we still put them here, but it will not really advance the level. This is really something that happened at the end of each turn. I decided to go for this expert token, which you normally put up there, but I think this works pretty nice, and I feel like an expert when playing this solo. What's really important now is we have gained our first experience. So again, this makes us stronger, though. This is one battle point in theory. You might wonder why it then would matter for all those tracks here. But as you have already seen, some of those skills are much tougher to get. So in order to get skill or wisdom, you really have to exchange one for the other. So it really does matter where you place those beats. So having more tokens here, or when you start the game, like for, I think one of the sorcerers starts with 2 wisdom, he really has a huge advantage over the other players. He may start lower on some of the other tracks apparently. So yeah, it still does make sense. First of all, when I read it, it sounded like, okay, it's a bit strange that we basically simply add up all of those things no matter what we are using. But when we really try to basically figure out on how to increase those, then again it really starts to get very, very interesting actually. Okay, this was our experience points. We still get to draw our first fortune card. And here we found a crystal ball. You may glance at one hidden enemy from anywhere. Use once per turn. It can be sold during the visit of the druid's cave or the witch's stand for 3 gold. That's pretty awesome. Okay, we will keep this for sure and place it next to our equipment slot here. We must not forget that we still have this sword here. There is a limit on those equipment slots, and I think this is 5 per each of those things. I have to check that, but right now we are still doing good anyway. And this is actually pretty amazing. The good thing is we will glance at the enemy. We will not put it face up, so we can still move past him if we decide to do so. So I think, yeah, let's totally use it right now. As I'm planning to move here to the Hall of Glory sooner or later, let's have a look at this one here. This is another goblin. Okay, that's pretty great. So we will definitely be able to beat him too. I think I forgot to mention that the battle action was already our second action out of our 5. So you're not encountering those guys automatically. No, you really have to actively spend one of your precious actions. And I think then it's time to move to the Hall of Glory. It's early, but I think I want to use my sword as soon as possible. So again, I will invoke a travel action. I will move to the ferry. We will sail across the river to the ferry. We will place it next here. And then we will disembark next to this space. This automatically ends our movement, even though we still have some spaces left. But this is basically where I wanted to go. And so I will use my 4th action to visit the Hall of Glory, which means I get to choose a wisdom or a skill. Of course, I will go for the skill. I have to pay 1 experience, 1 gold and 1 magic card. So yes, I will totally do that. So I will pay 1 gold. I will pay 1 experience, or pretty much I transform this into a skill. I think I will spend my magic card. It was a good one, but I cannot use it right away anyway. So let's get rid of it. This was pretty much the first action. On top of this, I'm allowed to grab 1 extra faith for free, which is pretty amazing. Though let's do that. So we are fully healed when it comes down to faith. Though I cannot have more than 5 in each of those dimensions here, but that's pretty okay for me. So I already increased my fighting power quite a bit actually. Unfortunately, I cannot equip my sword here right away. This happens either after my turn, then I can freely rearrange my stuff, but I cannot use it right away, or I can do a rest action here, which I consider doing, to be honest. And then with the rest action, I will also be allowed to equip stuff to my character. And right now I think there is not much else to do. So yeah, let's do the rest action. So we can recover 1 vitality. And this 1 is pretty much free, so I'm also maxed out on vitality here too. But as a bonus, I also get a free search action. So I get to roll this search die here once and get whatever it shows. And in this case, it's a fortune card and a gold. Awesome, I take it. Again, some of those fortune cards could be not so good, but most of them are. So here is my gold and here is my fortune card. And it seems I found some pearls, a decorated pearl box. During a visit to the Forest Imp or the Fairy's Ring, you can also exchange this card with 3 gold or 3 food. I think that's not too bad, actually. Okay, let's keep it, and then I may have another direction for one of my next turns or so. As part of my movement rest action, I also get to take or equip the Sword of Justice. It needs to go here. Yep, that's the case. And now it contributes basically 2 to my hero power during combat. I think this is really only for combat. But yeah, that's pretty amazing, to be honest. It also helps me against the dragon. So I think overall that was really not a bad start, to be honest. But that's already the end of my round. Of course, I could now have also equipped the Sword of Justice for free. But yeah, why wait? Let's do it right away before I forget that. And then the last thing to do is to move the Scale of Evil 1 step ahead. So now we will add 1 to pretty much each monster we are facing, including the dragon, that is. In case if you're wondering, the dragon's basic power is a 15, so he's definitely one of the toughest guy. He will roll 2 enemy battle die roll, or 2 of those red ones, who are much more powerful than our dice. Our dice show maximum a 3, they show a 5, I believe, each die. And of course we also add the Scale of Evil, which is currently at 1. So the sooner we try to engage him, the easier, or the, let's say, weaker the dragon actually is. I think I want to travel back to the Forest Imp now in order to basically trade in my pearls, and then maybe go to the marketplace to buy some stuff with the money we got there. I think that's a good idea. So we spend 1 action, we take the raft back here. This will end our movement. With our second action, we will visit the Forest Imp. So we will trade in those pearls for now, and this, yeah, pretty much gives us 3 more gold. In theory, we could convert some of our wisdom to skill, but I think I don't want to do that yet. So I'm not doing the first ability, but I could go for the second ability, which simply gives us 1 magic card. So yeah, let's totally do that. And we can get any of those 3, though all of them are face up pretty much, and we get to choose one. So I think let's go for this. Again, we can trade in some of those things, so it can still help us. And the instant we take 1 card, we will reveal the next one. And we have the Astral Power again. I think that's not bad to get it sooner or later. Okay, for now, I will keep the magic card here again. I may be able to get some more wisdom later on, and then, or I could trade it in, for example, at the Hall of Glory, basically like we did that before. And then I think we want to use the crystal ball in order to check out this one here. This seems to be some kind of an orc, and an orc is also beatable, I think, because he also only rolls 1 die and he would add 12 to that. And I think our basic power is already 17. So yeah, I think there is a good chance we will be able to defeat this orc. So let's spend our third action. By the way, those stones do not come with the game, but they help me to remember how many actions I've been taking. So this allows me to move up to 4 spaces, 1, 2, and 3. You cannot pass through these thick black walls, by the way. This is where those magic or stone gates are here for, in order to move to another region. I will end up here. I will take my 4th action in order to battle or engage this orc down here. So again, I will roll my 2 battle dice. The orc will only roll 1 of his red battle dice. He will add 12, 13 because of the Scale of Evil. We must not forget that we have 13. But again, our basic power is a 17 because those are 14 beats plus 3 more here. So that's 17. But yeah, let's see. I think this is good enough. So he has 15, and yes, I think we shouldn't. I think we may not had to roll the dice actually, but yeah, that's good enough. So this orc is no more. We put it onto the Scale of Evil. We get 1 extra experience and 1 extra fortune card, which in this case is the Enchanted Cloak. During an active use, increases the hero's power by 1 for owners of wisdom 1 and up. Right now we are already wearing one piece of cloak and or armor in this case, so I think we cannot, or we should not equip it, so I think I will hold on to my scale armor for now. But yeah, we can still sell this enchanted cloak at the marketplace later on, and this, I think this is where I wanted to go with my remaining action. So pretty much moving here to the marketplace. Unfortunately, I'm not able to visit it right away because, again, I'm out of actions. On the other hand, I could also move here to one of those safe spaces rather than here, because in the safe space I'm secure from those dragon attacks that will happen at the end of this round, which happens pretty much any minute now. But then again, I have to move back to this space and spend another of my actions actually, but I could really lose 2 health when he flies over the country. But on the other hand, yeah, let's show it to you. Let's stick to our plan. Let's stay here. So we will move into round, or move the scale of evil. Those little beads simply remind me of doing the dragon turn. And now I, as a solo player, get to choose if I want to move the dragon or not. I could keep him here at Dragon Rock 1, or could move him to Dragon Rock 2 or 3 down there. He will fly no matter what, so even if I would decide to keep him, he will still fly across the country and will attack us, or try to attack us twice, actually. But I think for now, I don't really care too much. So let's keep him there. Let's simply roll the dragon die twice, and this is also special to the solo game. Normally you only roll it once, and it inflicts a wound to each of those spaces, and I think this is us. Yes, that's clearly the forest, which means we have lost 1 piece of vitality. And then we roll a second time for the solo mode, and I think, yeah, this is everyone. Wow, that's a terrible result. I really should have moved into one of those safe spaces. But okay, getting vitality in this game is not so difficult. So yeah, it's definitely not great. So I have to spend a rest action or so. But yeah, okay, I cannot take it back. And this is really... No, it's not the end of the dragon turn. Additionally, we still have to expose 2 of those enemies in each of the regions. So 2 in the forest. I think let's do that. I really want to know what we are battling at. Okay, this is a wizard or so. He's really a tough cookie. He gets a 1 extra dice, so 2 red dice, plus 12, plus the 2 of the scale of evil. So this is definitely a beast. So those were 2 forests. We need to go for 2 plains, and I think let's do that here as well. Some kind of a werewolf. This is another goblin. Werewolf is also not great because he also adds 1 extra die, and then 2 from the mountain region. So I think let's take those 2, another wizard, a warlock, or whatever it is, and another of those werewolves. So those were 6 tokens we had to reveal. Of course, we know what they are right now, though. That's kind of a bonus, you might think. But again, right now you can no longer pass over those guys. So when they are face down, it's fine again. You can move over them without having to encounter them. But once they're exposed, you really have to end your movement. Or if you don't end your movement and pass through, then you pretty much have to hide or some sort. So you basically automatically losing 1 vitality. And this is something that you definitely try to avoid. Okay, let's do one more round, I think. First of all, we want to visit the marketplace with our first action here, which means we are going to sell our enchanted cloak there, which gives us another piece of gold. So we are at 5 now. That's not too bad. And then we can buy market cards, 2 gold each. So I could go for 2 market cards. And one thing I definitely want to get is the skill potion bottle for 2 gold here. What does it do? We can basically drink it anytime and it will refill 1 skill for the hero. So we get 1 extra skill point, which is not so easy to get. We are allowed to immediately refill the market offering. And here we found an eagle rider, an ally, or tinder twigs. But I think I will spend 2 more gold in order to go for this trained falcon, which we place onto our companion slot. And this allows me to add 1 to 3 paces to 1 travel action, or take a peek in 1 hidden enemy 1 to 3 paces away. Use once per turn. You cannot use more than 1 falcon. So for 1 movement action, we can really move a hell of a lot of space. And I think this is really, really huge. And so I will totally drink my skill potion bottle, which gives me another skill point. And keep in mind, I just lost 2 of my power points because I lost some vitality. So again, it doesn't really help me in combat now. So I have to be somewhat more careful. So this gets discarded right away. As my free action, I think I want to check out this token here so I can glance below it. Okay, that's another of those warlocks. This is not great. Okay, but I don't have to end my movement here. I believe this was a orc, so I could go there in theory and then move past him. I think, yeah, let's do that. So I will spend 1 action in order to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will use my trained falcon in order to move more than 4 spaces. But of course this is now gone. So I will sail over here because I believe I know what was here, to be honest. I think I looked at it. No, maybe I'm confusing it. Okay, but I will check it out anyway. No, it's an orc. Okay, that's fine. And then I think with our third action we will battle this orc. So he is now at 14 because of the scale of evil, and again he will roll 1 extra die. And I think the only thing that can happen is a tie, actually, which I would still win, but I would lose 1 vitality as well. But I think here we are good. That's 421. He was at 14, he's at 17. No, we are good. This orc has been slain. Again, we get 1 extra experience, so we can still take a lot of monsters before we are maxed out. And again, also experience helps us, making us better in combat. And of course, we get to draw another fortune card, which in this case is a bag of scrolls. You found a scroll inside the bag. Receive immediately 1 exposed magic card. It allows an unlimited increase in the amount of magic cards. Okay, that's not the greatest accessory of all times for us, but I will keep it anyway because we get 1 extra magic card for it. And I think again I want to go for this astral power here. So let's reveal that next card. That's a blast wave. For owners skill 3 and up, I could go for it. What does it exactly say? During a battle, add 2 your hero power not to be used against the dragon, or cancel any thievery snatching ambush. You are safe until your turn. Okay, so in the competitive mode there is also this thievery action which you can take against another player, where you can steal some stuff from them. This is not going to happen, but still, I can get a +2 hero power in any fight, not the dragon of course. So I think definitely something to look out for. I will spend my 4th action to move 1 to 3 spaces here to the Blue Moon Inn. Keep in mind, I can move over those face down enemy tokens if I want to. Of course, I could stop there and then they would get revealed. I think I will spend my last action to visit the Blue Moon Inn. Awesome stuff. So we have to spend our last piece of gold, which is okay, but therefore we get 4 food and 2 vitality. How cool is that? So here is our 4 food. We can use food basically in order to rest more efficiently, but we still get 2 extra vitality anyway. Okay, so right now we are really in a good shape, and I think, not so sure if you should wait too much longer actually in order to attack the dragon. Right now we're at 20 points and the dragon is, or will get to 18 base points. So I think we are basically not doing bad. Of course, I'm considering to increase the dragon's power, and this is where this big token is really used for. You place it instead of the normal mode to the scale of evil, and then the dragon has a 17 or a 19 depending if you play on Inferno or the expert level here. And to be honest, right now I'm still doing okay. Of course, 1 bad roll and I lose a lot of vitality anyway, and then it takes some time to get back there. But I still think let's go for the expert level in this playthrough. So I think overall then he has definitely some more. So he's at 20 now, I'm at 20, so I think that's at least even out. Of course he still rolls better dice than I do, but yeah, let's keep it anyway. Okay, I know it's a bit odd to do that in-game, but I think let's keep on playing, because otherwise I really would try to defeat the dragon pretty much in one of my next 1 or 2 turns actually. And then it would be a very short and boring exercise, don't you think? So let's play with expert now, and this will definitely keep me busy for another 2, 3, 4 more rounds or so. Okay, but this is already the end of our round. So we move the scale of evil up. So the dragon is not going to move this turn. At the end of the next turn, he's moving again. Keep in mind my little reminder beans here. And I think with that, I will call it for today. I really hope you enjoyed my little first episode of my playthrough of Heropath, the Dragon Roar. Keep in mind I'm also included the 2 expansions that's come with the game. There are some additional characters like the giant or the wizard and or the sorcerer, not quite sure which one is which. And of course a lot of extra cards that are added, some extra dice that could show up during the course of the game and things like that. But apart from that, it's not that different. It simply adds more stuff to the base game. Again, I really hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.